police are asking people to avoid an intersection due to a water main leak. Officers say an area on East 4th Street is flooded. The state of emergency has now been declared. Police say the break flooded the 2000 block of East 4th Street in the area of old EMU water plant. It happened just after 5 this morning. This video sent to us by Jazz Halsey. Authorities say they were evacuating the area between Burkhead Avenue and Litchfield Road on 4th Street and East 2nd Street, which has been blocked off entirely. We have learned crews have isolated the leak and now have the equipment they need to make repairs. Meanwhile, officials with East Davis County Water are advising people in Davis, Hancock, and Ohio counties to boil their water and to conserve it. They say customers should be prepared to be without water for a while. As a result of the break, the Davis County Judicial Center is closed today, as well as all Owensboro parks and recreation facilities.
When we came to open up this morning, there were a few customers waiting outside, wanted to get in and purchase water.
Bottled water is a hot commodity right now in Owensboro after a water main break. We have live team coverage this afternoon. A state of emergency has been declared and OMU customers are under a boil order. Our team coverage begins with Beth Sweeney, who is live where all of this started. Beth, how are repairs going so far?
Well, Jackie, I can tell you this is a very slow process. I want you to take a look behind me because we have a front row seat to what is happening here. Now, OMU officials tell us that they have been working for hours. They isolated the leak location, and now they've started that excavation process. You can see several pieces of equipment here. They're digging up where that leak is located and pumping water out here. All of this having to happen before the repair process can even start here. Now, we do know because of this leak, OMU officials say they lost a lot of pressure, which led to many homes and businesses turning off their faucets and having no water. The boil order affects all OMU customers, the Southeast, West, and East Water District, and Whitesville Waterworks. If this is you, you're advised to boil water for drinking and cooking for at least 3 minutes. OMU officials say you can still take a shower if you do have any pressure. Officials are also asking that you exercise extreme conservation when it comes to using any water.
No washing of cars, no watering of gardens, certainly don't refill your pool. We'd ask that you avoid doing laundry if you can do that, any of those sorts of things.
Now, I just got an update from OMU officials. They say this excavation process will continue for a bit here, and there's no timeline on when they're going to be able to restore this water. Now, once they have made those repairs, of course, they'll have to fill these tanks back up, and then the testing process starts. As you know, if you've been through a boil order before, it may take a couple of days. They have to send those test results off to state officials who have to review them and then approve them before they can lift this boil order. Now, as far as that state of emergency that was declared today by city and county officials, they tell us they do that so that they can receive any kind of state or federal assistance if that's needed. Now, they've not gotten to that point yet, but of course they wanted to go ahead and declare that state of emergency just in case they need it. Of course, thousands of people have been affected by this leak, and they are clearing out those grocery store shelves of that bottled water. Brittany Harry checked in with some local supermarkets today. She joins us from one of the IGA locations with that part of this story. Britt?
Yeah, Beth, managers here tell me that before the store even opened this morning, there was people standing outside just waiting to try and get in to get some water. We were told that all of that water was gone by about 9 o'clock, but since then another shipment has come in. That was a few hours later, and that too flew off the shelves. We were told several pallets have been delivered so far today, and more is expected this afternoon and tomorrow. Now, this is not only impacting people in the county, but store operations too. IGA managers tell us they have had to make some accommodations in their deli and meat departments, but right now they're still full service.
We've had a lot of businesses come in and purchase some of the gallon water, the distilled water particularly. I know a lot of the medical offices and whatnot use that, so you know, you like the business, but you don't want to see it for the wrong reasons, obviously.
Now, we are told that this could have more of an impact here tomorrow if there is still no running water.
Right now at 5, thousands of people are without water in western Kentucky. Davis County under a state of emergency.
A boil water order is in effect across the entire county. A water main broke early this morning on 4th Street, flooding the entire area. Right now, officials have no timeline of when the water may be back. Let's get right to Beth Sweeney, who is heading up our team coverage tonight. Beth?
Well, crews have been working here for hours. They are about to wrap up. Good news here, OMU officials say they have located the source of this leak. There are actually two breaks in this location, a 20-inch and a 24-inch. So now that they've located the source here, they can start that repair process pretty shortly. Now, there's still no timeline on when your water will be restored. Because of this, OMU officials say they lost a lot of pressure, which led to many people turning on their faucets and having nothing. And this boil order affects all OMU customers, the Southeast, West, and East Water District, and the Whitesville Waterworks too. Now, if you are a part of this boil order, you want to boil that water for drinking or cooking for at least 3 minutes. OMU officials say you can still shower if you have pressure. Now, you may remember there was a major water main leak back in the fall here that led to a boil order. Now, here's how OMU officials say that this one is different.
This is different because a lot of people are turning on their taps and not seeing water and are concerned by that, but that was because of the draining of the pressure in the system very quickly.
Right now at 6, OMU crews are working feverishly to repair 2 massive water main breaks in Davis County. Good evening, I'm Randy Moore. Crews tell us they have now located the breaks and the work is underway to get them repaired and the water back on, but it's going to take some time. This initial break happened at 5 this morning, flooding East 4th Street near the former OMU plant. All customers in Davis, Hancock, and Ohio counties are under a boil order. Not an advisory, an order.
Yeah, we're going on about 13 hours here since that leak was first reported, and crews say they will not stop until those repairs are finished. They'll work into the evening hours and overnight if they have to. I want you to take a look behind me so you can see exactly where these leaks happen. Now, this has wiped out water to thousands of homes and businesses. Grocery stores have been overwhelmed with customers buying bottled water, and others like first responders are having to make adjustments in case of emergency. And this situation also impacting the healthcare community. Owensboro Health has actually set up a command center to help folks there. Jim Stravin is live at Owensboro Health Regional Hospital with the details on that.
Well, Beth, by all reports and what I've been told, the hospital is absolutely fine as far as water pressure is concerned. I'm told that the hospital's command center, though, was set up and active before 7 a.m. this morning. That's where they will be coordinating how the hospital responds to this emergency. Now, one of the biggest challenges for them today is making sure that the hospital and all the other Owensboro Health branches in the city are stocked with clean water. I'm told that the hospital keeps a stockpile of water on hand for situations just like this. In addition to that stockpile, the command center scheduled shipments of water to come in throughout the day.
We had a similar situation back in 1994 where we were without water for about a week, I believe. We are prepared to stand as we are now for several days, and we'll adjust to the situation as we need to. If we need to adapt and bring in other types of supplies or react in a different way, we can do so.
Now, if you have a family member here at Owensboro Health, I'm told that you don't have to worry at all. The hospital itself does have water pressure, and they're absolutely fine here. And they do have plenty of drinking water as well. A member of the hospital staff told me that they don't close unless it's absolutely necessary. And for now, it looks like the hospital will be able to remain open.
You know, I've been reading through some of our viewer comments on 14news.com and our social media pages, and I would say the majority of them have just been praising OMU officials for their hard work, being out here doing what they can to make these repairs and get service restored as soon as possible. You know, the best of the community really shines in situations like this.
Right now at 10, thousands of people living in Davis County are still without water as crews race to repair 2 massive water main breaks. As we first reported on 14news.com, the initial break happened around 5 this morning, flooding East 4th Street near the former OMU plant. This wiped out water to thousands of homes and businesses. Our Randy Moore starts our team coverage live from the scene with new information on what customers can expect. Randy?
Yeah, that's right, Jackie. We have breaking news. Just within the last few minutes, we hear from Owensboro municipal utility officials that one of the 2 lines that broke here early this morning has been capped, and so that's success. So that's got to be something that lifts the spirits of everybody around here, not only the workers, but everybody who is affected by this. But I'll tell you what, early this morning, this thing started about 7 o'clock this morning. It literally flooded these streets all around here, leaving this sand and mud, and so they ended up closing all of these streets right around here. I'm going to bring in Sonia Dixon from OMU. And Sonia, bring us up to date with the progress on getting the water restored.
Well, as you mentioned, we have good news. One of the 2 lines we were able to cap. That's helping us stop the flow and isolate the system a little further. They're making progress on that second main. They're going to be valving it soon. And that will get us even one step closer. The one that was capped is going to have to be elevated and supported by some concrete work, so that will follow next. So we're certainly making progress.
You want to have the water restored tomorrow, but water restoration does not necessarily mean that the order is lifted.
Exactly. We hope to have service restored tomorrow. That follows the startup of our Plant A and then the filling of our system and some flushing. But the boil water will still be in effect. The boil water order will still be in effect until it's lifted after the appropriate testing and approvals from the State Department of Water.
Can you predict how many days that might be?
I'm unsure. It honestly depends upon how quickly we're able to fill the system and how quickly we're able to flush.
We cover water main breaks all the time. 99.9% of the time they're in a very localized area. Why is this so widespread?
Well, this is coming out of one of our supply plants. We have 2, the Plant A and then the Cavan plant, which is further down the road. So it has certainly affected all of our area. This is affecting everyone in Davis County and then some.
All right, Sonia Dixon, thank you very much. At least some progress to report tonight. Thanks so much for that. Now, there's one situation tonight that we covered for you, and that was a senior citizens development, the Roosevelt House. Now, not only are they dealing with a lack of water, their air conditioning system is water cooled, so it's also hot in there.
As one of our residents told me earlier today, we grew up without air, and it's not a big deal for them.
Roosevelt House Retirement Home property manager Daphne Cole says very few of the 300-plus residents have left, even without water or air conditioning.
It started out a little hectic, but we kind of got our bearings and just kicked it in gear, and everybody's working together to make it work.
Cole says the news of the water main break caught the staff off guard.
They keep asking us if we've heard any updates, but we say we're at the mercy of OMU just like anybody else.
Cole says the staff is doing what they can to keep the residents hydrated. They've gotten water from Evansville and the American Red Cross and distributed the water to as many residents as possible, all the while waiting for the water to come back on.
Hey, everybody's playing bingo just like they always did. Doesn't seem to be bothering them too bad.
As the supply diminishes, Davis County officials are warning of price gouging. You can report stores that are upping the price of water to the Kentucky Attorney General's office. Also, first responders are having to make adjustments because of this water main break and because of the water shortage, and in some cases the lack of water altogether. We caught up with the Owensboro Fire Chief, Steve Mitchell, and he says they have a 5-phase plan in effect for fire protection. They are now in phase 3. That means that they have extra staff, extra tankers, several ponds that they can siphon water from if needed, and a fireboat on the river ready to roll. The chief's biggest concern is commercial and industrial businesses that don't have enough pressure for their sprinkler systems to work. So they're asking for those businesses to avoid high-risk operations. Welding would be just one such operation that would be considered high risk, and you should not do that.
An ongoing water emergency in Davis County. 2 water main breaks left hundreds of homes and businesses without water. All Owensboro municipal utility customers remain under that boil order.
It's still a very active scene here. We're going to show you what's happening. You know, crews been working nonstop to get things restored here. We will tell you overnight they were able to make those repairs, finish them, and we've just learned that the treatment plant is back online and they've started the flushing process. Crews still working in this area, and the road is still closed. So if you live around here, you're going to need to follow those detour signs in this area. I'm joined right now by Sonia Dixon with Owensboro Municipal Utilities. And Sonia, tell me what's happening right now.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we're bringing the plant online. That's Plant A. That's the portion of the building that you're seeing to this side here. What's important about that is that means that we're getting water into the system, and we're doing what we call recharging the system, which is when we get water into the lines. And also what's happening is that we're flushing the system, because as you can imagine, when you're recharging the system, you're stirring up sediment, you're trapping air. and those sorts of things. We're doing this very systematically, so we're going to notice a slow progression of how the water is restored to homes. And the reason that we're doing that is you don't want to just flush the system suddenly with a lot of pressure. We don't want to cause any more problems. So customers should start seeing pressure and start seeing water service to their homes now and through the evening. That may be a little bit intermittent because as we open another valve over here to open another main, it may drop the pressure. So don't be surprised by that.
And you can help people in Owensboro right now by donating bottled water. 14 News is teaming up with PD&S Transportation and Schnucks.
Matt Taylor is here right now. He's the president of PD&S Trucking. And what inspired you to send water over to Owensboro or haul it over there?
Well, honestly, it was a last-minute thing last evening. You know, I saw on the web that what was going on over there and immediately thought of, you know, the children and elderly that, as hot as it is, as you said, definitely need some water. And, you know, we have the resources in terms of trucks that we can, you know, haul water without a problem. So just posted something on Facebook and this thing really just took off.
We're learning to live with it.
You can shower. You know, I think that is first and foremost on everyone's mind.
A water emergency in Davis County is showing signs of ending soon. Owensboro Municipal Utilities telling us tonight water is flowing again after those 2 huge water main breaks. Now, the water is coming to the taps and things are starting to get back to normal. OMU says a boil order for all customers is still in effect. We have live team coverage starting with Beth Sweeney. She is heading up our live team coverage from Owensboro.
Yeah, Randy, what a relief for so many here in the Owensboro area. I just knocked on a couple of doors and talked to neighbors here right across from where that break happened. They tell us they do have water service restored in this area. Now, OMU officials say customers should start seeing an increase in pressure and service. Now, if you don't have water yet, don't worry. They say that it could take several hours before every customer is back in service here. Now, crews are still out here on 4th working. The road is still closed to traffic, so keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about. We just actually saw a concrete truck pull up here too. You'll also see crews at several hydrant locations across the city as they flush the system. That's to release any sediments or trapped air. When you turn on your faucet, the water may also look a little cloudy. That's expected. Just keep running it until it runs clear. Officials say you may also notice a few changes in pressure throughout the evening. This happens as valves are opened throughout the system, which is part of that restoration process. Now, the earliest that boil order could be lifted is Thursday. Now, this water emergency forced many restaurants in our area to close, but some local places were able to stay open. Brittany Harry stopped by Colby's, which is a popular spot here. They managed to keep their doors open. So how do they do it?
Well, Beth, with a lot of accommodations, they tell me, you know, it takes a lot to make a restaurant go day to day, and not having water just makes things a little bit harder. For about 31 years, people in Owensboro have been dining at Colby's Fine Food and Spirits, and today is no different.
We know that us being open would be really good for people, especially because there are such few restaurants being open. We just love our community. We want to serve them and be able to get them in and have some really great food.
But Colby's has had to make some adjustments because of the water emergency. Workers spent Monday stocking up on a lot of soda and water.
So we actually have a little machine here. So all you have to do is just fill this up with our distilled water or bottled water, pour it over, and then we can make tea and coffee. Well, we do have a big pot of boiling water on the back just for our food prep. And then really just we have hand sanitizer in our bathrooms. We made sure that all of our restrooms are working properly.
Workers at Colby's say it's worth keeping their doors open, and they are going to do everything they can to try and maintain that.
Driving down the street, all the restaurants are closed. Had to go to the courthouse, it was closed, and Colby's was open, so we came right in.
Now, I also stopped by Wonder Whip. That's another food place here in Owensboro, actually just down the street. They managed to keep their doors open as well, so we'll have that part of the story for you coming up tonight at 10. Beth.
Thank you, Brittany. And of course, other people affected by this, a senior living center here in Owensboro, not only affected without water, dealing with that, but also without air conditioning. Katie Capusta is live at the Roosevelt House. So, Katie, what led to this issue?
Yeah, Beth, that's because their AC unit here at the Roosevelt House has a water cooling system, which means that without water, they can't cool the building. And the senior citizens that are living here are living in that heat. Some of those rooms getting up to 90 degrees. Now, thankfully, the main level had air conditioning. They had a different unit for that, so residents can cool off in the cafeteria. And since the Roosevelt House is a senior living center for anyone over 55, many residents have health problems that arise or worsen as it gets warmer. Management tells me that some of these residents have left or are planning to.
I've got the ceiling fan going in the bedroom, and I've got just a regular fan next to my chair, but that's just circulating hot air. And in fact, it got pretty unbearable today. That's why I'm getting out.
Now, I did just talk to a worker here at the Roosevelt House. He told me that they're working on getting that AC up and running, but the water pressure is not enough right now. He said about the bottom three floors rather has water. They're still working to get it up to the top floors.
And those water bottles are headed for the Salvation Army on Owensboro's west side. That's where we'll find Paige Hagan. She's live right there now.
Yeah, Randy. Really all hands on deck today to help out Owensboro. Really cool to see. The folks from the United Way and the Salvation Army told me they actually recruited teenagers from neighboring areas here. So they helped unload and pack up those cases today. The big shipment, of course, from area Schnuck stores goes to Owensboro later tonight. But the need is pretty great for families here. The Salvation Army's captain today told me the phone has been off the hook from families in need. They've seen firsthand the need from nursing homes. They went to several of those today, lower income neighborhoods targeting, refugees, and they passed out bottles where they know some of the homeless camp out. So from just one afternoon today, we received several hundred bottles of water. Very awesome to see. The Salvation Army says they plan to be heading out as early as 9 a.m. tomorrow to pass some of the rest out. Randy, back to you.
Paige, very good. Thanks a lot. Well, this is a developing story, of course, so be sure to have the 14 News app. And as soon as we learn that the boil order is lifted, we'll send out a push alert.